Hello and welcome to News Now on TV360. I'm Thelma Okoro. Nigeria's 2017 budget now stands at 7.44 trillion naira. The Nigerian Senate Committee on Appropriation submitted the document showing the latest increase at plenary on Tuesday. The new figure represents a 123 billion naira increase from the original proposal of 7.29 trillion naira submitted by President Muhammad Buhari in December last year. After deliberations on the report, the Senate resolved to pass the budget on Thursday this week. The budget, which is over 20.4% higher than the 2016 budget, is expected to pull the Nigerian economy out of recession. A mediator involved in the release of the 82 Chibok girls says that some of the schoolgirls refused to be part of the freed group. The girls were abducted 3 years ago by the Boko Haram militant sect. Zana Mustafa, the mediator, said some of the abducted girls had refused to go home, fueling fears that they may have been radicalized by the jihadist sect or may feel ashamed, afraid, or even too powerful to return to their homes. The girls are the second batch to be released following the release of 21 girls last October. Both deals were brokered by Switzerland and the International Committee of the Red Cross. Over 90 of the schoolgirls, however, still remain missing. Meanwhile, the United Nations has welcomed the release of the 82 Chibok girls. The agency also appealed to the Nigerians, including the families and communities of the girls, to fully embrace them and provide all support to ensure their integration into society. The United Nations says it is committed to supporting the government of Nigeria to providing much-needed relief to those vulnerable people. A member of the People's Democratic Party, Jan Eno, has defected to the ruling All Progressives Congress. Eno announced his defection on the floor of the Nigerian Senate on Tuesday, admitting that he had registered at the APC Secretariat in his ward. The senator represents Cross River State Central under Nigeria's main opposition party. Eno, however, did not give any reason for defecting to the ruling All Progressives Congress. Police in Benue State have confirmed that 3 people were killed by herdsmen in Seaka village over the weekend. The clash started around 2 p.m. on Sunday and led to the death of over 15 people. Spokesperson to the Benue State Police Command, Moses Yamu, who confirmed the killings, said the suspected herdsmen were relocating from the area when a clash with the villagers ensued. It happened days after the State House of Assembly passed a law prohibiting open grazing and bearing of arms by herdsmen. The Nigeria Immigration Service has provided passport booklets to all its issuing centers across the country. A statement signed by James Sunday, NIS Public Relations Officer, said the issue of passport booklet scarcity has been resolved and members of the public could visit any of its centers to get passports issued. The Immigration Service urged all passport applicants to avoid patronizing illegal vendors who may make the process difficult for them. The Nigerian government says it has set up a committee to review all its pension charges and come up with policies to offset such liabilities. According to a statement from the country's Ministry of Finance, Minister of Kemi Adeosun will be the one chairing the board. She says the committee will review and reconcile all pension liabilities of the federal government and make relevant recommendations. Troops of the Nigerian army say they have rescued a retired police officer and 3 women apparently abducted by bandits and cattle rustlers in Niger State. In a statement, the Assistant Director of Army Public Relations, Major Olabisi Ayeni, said the retired police officer, identified as Bahago Ibrahim, and the 3 women were abducted in Mangodo village in Niger State. He said the soldiers achieved the feat while carrying out a clearance mission of hideouts of the bandits and cattle rustlers in the state.
Corruption not in my country.
How work?
Oh, correct, Oga.
Oh, yeah, what is it that you are doing?
Oga, they come out the part now. Make we go sell for.
Oga, na correct kuza be this o. Oga Titus and him boys them. They do am. They will commot the original parts, sell them, make plenty kusa.
No wonder our customers bring the generator back to our workshop because they're bad. And not because of stuff.
Now because they overuse the generator. Plus say NEPA no they give them electricity.
Ngwanu, before I open my eye, Makachuku look at my dog in the heaven. Replace this original generator parts back inside this generator of my customer. In short, before we do frog jump. One. Frog jump. 1, 2, 1. Stealing of generator parts or changing of original parts to a fake one. That is the corruption. Not in my country.
Corruption not in my country.
Welcome back. Up next is business news with Fidelia Aguncha.
Thank you, Thelma. Nigeria's central bank says it has released $81.2 million to meet dollar requests in the country and as well improve liquidity. The CBN in a statement said it provided $44 million to meet requests for expenses such as medical bills, school fees, and travel allowances. It added that $37.2 million was provided for small and medium-sized enterprises. The central bank has been intervening aggressively since February to try to narrow the spread between the official and black market rates, and it has sold over $4 billion in this process. Kemi Adelson, Minister of Finance, says Nigeria's economy is witnessing a positive turnaround. The minister said this at the launch of the 2017 Regional Economic Outlook for Sub-Saharan Africa by the International Monetary Fund (IMF). She says investor confidence was returning to the country owing to steps taken by the government to refocus the economy on the path of growth. The International Monetary Fund (IMF) says the economic growth in sub-Saharan Africa is expected to recover slightly to 2.6% this year. The report notes that the continent's largest economies, which are Nigeria, South Africa, and Angola, are seeing a rebound from the sharp slowdowns in 2016, but the recovery has been slow due to insufficient adjustment to low commodity prices and policy uncertainty. However, a number of factors, including weak commodity prices on the international market, drought, and insecurity, poses a great risk to the region's projected growth. Oil prices fell on Tuesday, rattled by concerns over slowing demand and the rise in U.S. crude output that has trembled investors' faith in the ability of OPEC to rebalance the market. Brent crude futures was down 39 cents at $48.97 a barrel, while U.S. crude was down 32 cents to trade at $46.11 a barrel. Even though OPEC has stuck to its pledge to cut production, U.S. output has risen by more than 10% since mid-2016 to 9.3 barrels per day, boosted by shale sector and close to the output of Russia and Saudi Arabia. That's all on business. More stories coming up. Don't go away.
Corruption not in my country.
Mr. John! Mr. John! What is it now?
What is it now?
Please turn down the volume of your music. It's too loud.
And how is that your business?
It is disturbing me. I can't sleep.
And the same way you are disturbing my right to good music and where I enjoy it. What's wrong with you? Is any other person complaining?
Maybe we thought that you have lost your mind. Are you having a party?
I'm just respecting you, sir. You remember I've paid my husband too.
You will not understand why we are complaining because you do not care about other people except yourself. Look, the transformation we need in this country begins in this compound.
Yes, now.
From you, and I. This your selfishness is an offshoot of corruption. And corruption
Not in my country.
You know, go to your bank. Go.
Corruption not in my country.
Welcome back. Medical samples from 4 of the victims of a disease in Liberia that initially baffled scientists have tested positive for a type of meningitis. According to Health Minister, a total of 31 cases of the so-called mystery illness have been reported to authorities, including 13 deaths in an outbreak linked to the attendance of a religious leader's funeral in the city. While the symptoms are different from the Ebola virus, the sudden deaths nevertheless stirred anxiety about an outbreak of the tropical illness which killed over 11,000 people less than a year ago. Zimbabwe's President Robert Mugabe has become the second African leader to leave the shores of the continent on health grounds. The 93-year-old president has been flown to Singapore, an Asian country, and has been the president of Zimbabwe since 1980 when the country gained independence. As the country prepares for the election in 2018, Mugabe's health status has become an issue for residents in the city. Super Eagles coach General has included uncapped Chelsea defender Ola Aina in his squad to play Corsica later this month. Aina, who was born in England and has represented the country at under 16 and under 20 levels, is eligible to play for the Super Eagles. The three-time African champions will open camp in Corsica on the 24th of May and then play against the senior team 2 days later. The game will be used as an opening game for the AFCON qualifier against South Africa in June this year. More on our sports stories now. FIFA President Gianni Infantino says he intends to meet with Pescara midfielder Sule Montari, the victim of racist abuse in Italian football. Montari was booked for complaining about racist abuse during a match in Italy and subsequently suspended, although that sanction was later lifted by authorities. Infantino told reporters on Tuesday that he intended to meet with Montari and would give him FIFA's full solidarity. Netherlands has reappointed Dick Advocaat as its third coach in less than 3 years. This will also be Advocaat's third spell as Netherlands coach after previous spells from 1992 till 1994 and 2002 till 2004. He has been tasked with ensuring that Netherlands qualify for the 2018 World Cup scheduled to hold in Russia. The team is currently struggling in Group A, which is 6 points behind group leaders France and 3 points behind Sweden, who occupied the playoff place. That's all we have on News Now. Thank you very much for watching. I'm Thelma Okoro.